Welcome to the explainer. Every story has a setting, right? But some settings, they're more than just a backdrop. They become characters themselves, places that just seem to hold secrets. And today, we're exploring one of those places.
Yeah, we're diving deep into some absolutely terrifying stories that all share this one super unsettling location, the late night gas station. Think about it. These are places we all pass through, but for some people, they become the stage for, well, for unforgettable horror. All right, so let's get into it. Our first story starts with a guy named David. He's a lone night shift worker at a gas station. And get this, it's in the absolute middle of nowhere. I mean, his nights were usually just profound boredom, the faint buzzing of old lights, until one night, everything changed. So you can picture the scene, right? It's just perfectly set up for a classic horror movie moment. You've got total isolation, that kind of deafening silence, and it's the dead of night. This is a place on the very edge of everything, where all the normal rules just feel like they don't apply. And things just unfold with terrifying speed. At 2 in the morning, a man walks in, just drenched in what David later described as a cartoonish amount of blood. What happens next is this chilling exchange, a desperate 911 call, and then a violent confrontation. And all of this goes down in just 7 minutes. 7. And this is the line. This is the moment everything flips. The guy just calmly says, "Don't worry, it's not my blood." And that single phrase, wow, it completely transforms this shocking sight into an active, horrifying threat. He's not crying for help, right? He's just stating a fact that means something awful has just happened, and the person who did it is standing right there. So after this incredibly tense moment, the man leaves. But he comes back, furious, when he sees David on the phone with 911. He literally launches himself over the counter. And in this moment of pure, raw survival instinct, David just bluffs. He lies about having a gun, and that desperate lie is what saves his life. But believe me, this mystery is far, far from over. Okay, so the immediate danger is gone. But the story? Not even close to being over. A few months go by, and the terror comes back. But this time, it's not about chaotic violence. No, this time it's psychological. And honestly, it's way more sinister. The whole threat just completely changes. A new guy walks in, and he's impeccably dressed. Looks like he has absolutely no business being in a remote gas station after midnight. He's not there for chips or gas. Nope. He's there for information. He pulls out a photograph and shows it to David, and it's him. It's the bloody attacker from that night. In that split second, David Scott just screams at him, lie, deny everything. He just has this feeling that getting involved in whatever this is would be a catastrophic mistake. And the man in the suit, he doesn't push it. He doesn't threaten him or anything. He just looks at David and leaves him with these 4 words. "I know you're lying." And that just confirms David's worst fears. This isn't random anymore. The danger is now personal, and it knows he lied. So you see what's happening here, right? This is the crucial point. The threat is evolving. It shifts from this direct, physical, fight-for-your-life kind of thing to this terrifying campaign of harassment. The first guy was like a wild animal. This new guy? He's a patient, calculating predator. And the intimidation just escalates so methodically. It's designed to dismantle David's sense of safety piece by piece. First, a silver SUV just appears, parked across from the gas station. Then he sees the same SUV in the parking lot of his grocery store. And then it's parked on his own street. The final message comes when a rock shatters his living room window in the middle of the night. The message is clear. We know where you live. We can get to you anytime. And this, right here, it just brilliantly illustrates how psychological terror can be just as effective, maybe even more so than physical violence. David survives the initial attack, sure, but the stalking campaign, it completely destroys his life. He's forced to quit his job, abandon his home, and move out of state. He becomes a ghost, all because he saw something he wasn't supposed to see. Okay, let's shift gears. Our next story shows us a different kind of gas station horror. It's more claustrophobic. This isn't about a big confrontation inside the store. It's about what can follow you when you leave. So the guy in this story is a truck driver, and he is just exhausted after a super long haul.
He pulls into this silent, empty gas station lot just to catch a quick nap. He wakes up about an hour later. Everything looks the same. He gets back on this deserted highway, thinking he's completely alone. But he's not. About 20 minutes into his drive, he starts hearing this weird, faint noise, a thumping sound coming from the back of his truck. At first, he just dismisses it, probably a loose tool shifting around in the truck bed. So he does what we'd all do. He turns up the radio to drown it out. And then, just absolute chaos erupts. A massive crack, so loud it's like a rock hit his window. He turns and sees a person, a stowaway, standing in his truck bed, violently trying to smash their way into the cab with one of his own tools. It's that horrifying realization he hasn't been alone for the last 20 minutes. Somehow, he manages to rustle the truck to a stop without crashing, and the figure just jumps out and escapes into the woods. The driver is totally shaken, obviously. He inspects his truck bed and finds something that wasn't there before, this small, tightly wrapped trash bag, and it smells rancid. He just chucks it into the trees, and that's when he realizes his hands are now covered in something red and sticky. So what in the world connects these terrifying, seemingly random events? You've got a bloody man, a calculating stalker in a suit, and a violent stowaway with a mysterious bag. What's the common link? Well, the common thread is the setting itself. It's what you'd call a transitional space. Gas stations, they kind of exist on the edge of society. They're places of anonymity and vulnerability, where total strangers from all walks of life just cross paths for a fleeting moment before disappearing back onto the highway. And you know what makes these stories so genuinely chilling? It's that we're left with zero resolutions. We get no answers. There's no final showdown, no explanation on the news later. All you're left with is the pure terror of the event itself and this whole series of haunting, unanswered questions. And I think that's the ultimate takeaway. It's this profound, really unsettling realization that the world is just filled with these stories we'll never know the beginning or the end of, that we're often surrounded by dangers we can't see, especially in those anonymous places we just pass through every single day. So, how many secrets are driving past you on the highway, just waiting for the right moment to stop? Makes you think, doesn't it?